Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else that is listening to our lovely voice here this evening, night, or wherever you are, every time you are listening this to. My name is Gumshoe, and welcome to the podcast. I know that we're actually doing this one a bit late, since it's technically, this will probably, I think, this episode will come out like July 1st, technically, because the way the month is, it's pretty weird, but whatever. Things got in the way, it happens. But that's not what we are discuss today. As always, we do have a guest here. So who are you? Who's this person?
I'm Okurii. I've technically been on a podcast before, just under another name. Has it been? Yeah, I haven't been on since I changed my name, have I?
You were on here once in the first season, which is all up on YouTube, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Or no,
Yeah.
wait. Were you on here twice?
I think I was on twice. I think I've been on twice.
I think you were on for last June when we did that huge 3-hour long E3 thing.
Yeah, I think I was on for an E3 one, and then
I know you were on. I think you were on for a December.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
And that was about it. But if everyone's wondering why we're not talking about E3, that's because what I decided to do, since E3 is so huge, is to just mention a little bit in this podcast and instead have a more in-depth, in massive air quotes, podcast specifically for YouTube, since it would be way too long. So if you're wondering why this is not just an all E3 coverage or where that is, it's up on my YouTube, and you can go watch it or listen to it. Whatever. It's technically too long for me to upload here. I can only upload it on YouTube. So, whoops. But anyway, let's begin with actually E3 to talk a little bit about it, because it did happen in June, and I gotta say, I think overall it's been one of the better E3s to have surfaced, and just to sort of make this one super quick, we're just going to give our top three highlights. But Okurii, you actually already did a video.
I did, yeah.
About it.
Yeah, I did a top 5 for E3, but my top 5 actual E3 games is a little different from what I actually put in the video. I put the Yakuza games coming to PC at like number 1, but in reality, I think the best game that they showed was Ghost of Tsushima.
Wait, was that the one with the flute guy, or is that a different one?
Yeah, that was the flute guy. That was Sony's flute guy. If I had to go for if I had to go for my second and third, it would definitely be Jump Force and then Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 being number 2. Those games just look like they're gonna be fun. Resident Evil 2 more than Jump Force.
Oh yeah, because we're gonna have some Death Note characters. They're not gonna be fighters, but they're in there.
That's gonna be so weird.
Why?
Of all the characters you'd think they'd put in a fighting game.
Well, wait a minute. Like, is Death Note even considered Shonen Jump?
Yeah, it's Shonen. It's Shonen
Really?
Jump. Yeah. It's like I don't remember if they got bought out or something, but like I'm pretty sure it was syndicated through Shonen Jump.
Wow, that's really bizarre. Just like, hey, okay, so after you're done watching, these people punch each other, let's talk about let's talk about morals and death.
That is a pretty common thing for Shonen Jump, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but that Note is a series that surprisingly has less punching.
Yeah. I think there's like one actual fight scene between two characters that aren't like... I don't even know if there's fight scenes between actual characters. I just know that there's like one part when they...
Okay, yeah, there is punches thrown, but
yeah, there are thrown punches.
That's about it. I guess that's all you need to actually qualify.
Yeah.
But I'd have to say that my top 3, I would put that game, The Ghost of Tsushima, because I can't pronounce that for the life of me. I'm not going to even try.
I almost just called it Ghost.
No, then people are going to get confused because you could be talking about Call of Duty Ghosts.
True.
Or not, because, timing is everything. But I would actually say, I think at number 3 for me would be FromSoft's new take on it. Because I think I like that they're getting away with the whole RPG system. Because I would rather, I don't know, when it comes to their type of games, I kind of felt like when I was going through the Dark Souls series that, like, this would be, I tend to like challenges where I have everything at my disposal and it's just how do I use that, and to me I feel like that can be a little more rewarding. Though I get the more make your character, but sometimes you can just be like, well, I'm going to go for this build, and if it's your first time playing, you're like, oh, I should have put all my stats in Faith or something, and now I got to do this boss a very slow and methodical way because I just can't use this one thing that I needed for my build.
Was there information that came out about
There
that game?
was some information that said they weren't going to do RPG like that type of the same type of RPG stats distribution that we saw in the Dark Souls series. So
I didn't really like look into that game because I was like, it's not Tenchu. I don't care.
It's not that, and I'm pretty sure there wasn't a arm. Well, it's not a robot arm, but still, I'm pretty sure that didn't exist in that time period. But whatever.
Not that advanced, no.
Yeah, like what is this? It becomes a shield and a grappling hook. Okay, listen. But that's another reason why I'm super excited for it, because just the fact that we have more movement options, can be interesting. But yeah, I would just put all 3 of those games, Nino, and then Ghosts, just put them all at number 3, because each I think mainly is because that each one of those 3 look like, well, except for Nino 2, since we didn't really get a lot of what that's going to be, but each one of those look like they're going for something different while still being kind of centered around the same period and kind of maybe having some of the same mechanics.
Yeah,
but yeah,
they'll be interesting to see once they're out.
I'm excited to see which one will perform more than the others.
I think they'll all do pretty well, considering how they did at E3, how they were shown.
My next highlight was, I was gonna put Smash, but the problem is that I'm so drained by everything that it can't be my number 2. It's just it's too obvious. So my actual number 2 was also going to be Resident Evil 2, just because I never thought that we would get a remake.
Yeah, I don't think anyone thought it was real. I swear most people were convinced that it was just like done, like they weren't making it.
And of course, my number 1, which just has to be number 1, because I also thought we weren't getting this game at all. I thought the series was basically in a zombie state where we would only see it in fighting games and maybe an odd spin-off here and there. But Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, that was a shocker, for sure.
I recently rewatched the trailer, and they do mention Redgrave in there, and I'm like, what? I think like the street that they're fighting on in the opening is like Redgrave Street or something, and it's like, hey, I get the reference. So I'm excited for 5 because it's finally back, and no more reboot Dante. So hooray for that.
I still stand by reboot Dante being a fun.
Okay,
character.
yeah. See, look, for me, I'm like, it's fun, but also I don't know. I just don't like the art style as much, and I think, and yes, I know when I look at Devil May Cry 5, a lot of people are like, hey, Nero kind of looks like that, and
that's why I could have sworn that was Dante. So like during them showing it, I was like, that's Dante, not Dante. It's another character. So whoops.
It's like, It's well, I mean, technically, you're not wrong. It is kinda, but
The music they used in that trailer was good.
yes, and it is available on YouTube officially. So,
So
hooray!
thanks for that. That was cool of them.
So yay! That's a plus one. Though I am disappointed that we didn't get anything on Splinter Cell. That Walmart leak, it said there was a Splinter Cell game. They said there was a Rage 2. What's going on?
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
Yeah, that was weird. Like maybe they were like maybe they pulled it last second because they're like, ooh no. We don't want to actually show this yet.
No, we gotta save room for the Division 2 and Just Dance. Duh.
Needed that just dance, man. Needed that fix.
We needed that panda.
Mm-hmm.
Because people like pandas, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that's basically what we're gonna say for E3. It came, it went, and now we're all just desperately waiting for the games to actually come out and not get delayed or, get canceled.
Again, all the games are gonna get delayed. Let's just say that now.
Kingdom Hearts 3 better not get delayed. I'm just saying. Right? You gave us like 4 trailers, and each of them had like a. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic. Captain Spirit, which was shown off in E3, but is now out in the world, and it's one of the most wholesome and cute things that I've actually played.
It came out the same day it was announced, right?
No, it came out a couple days ago as of recording this.
Oh. That's how
like,
little I know about that game. Care about that game.
I probably will do a more, well, not a podcast or say, but I may or may not decide to do something with it because there's some interesting stuff to talk about. But especially from my view, where I actually personally didn't like Life is Strange as much as a lot of people probably would, and I still just had no interest of playing Before the Storm. I felt like I didn't really feel like I needed to play this. But I don't know. I feel like some of my criticisms with the first Life is Strange was kind of hopefully will be seem to be not as much of an issue. I don't know. I may decide to go more in depth with what I'm talking about, but with this, we also got an announcement that yes, we are getting a Life is Strange 2. And I forget when the first episode was because I didn't look too much into that. But
it's September or October.
I think it's September. And that's gonna be interesting. I hope. But yeah, I personally just never got into just. I see why people like Life is Strange. It's just me personally. I'm just more on the side where, it's fun.
I couldn't get into it because of how hyped up it was. Yeah, it's September 27th.
Okay, there we go.
I couldn't get. I think just the way people got super into it and super excited about it kind of ruined it for me. But like, I get why people like it. It's a really interesting take on the
Telltale formula too.
Yeah, the new like point and click adventure story games. I don't know what you call those anymore. Technically point and clicks, are they?
I think people are just calling them adventure games, which is just so bland. But I'm like, all right. Yeah, it's a different style of adventure games, and I would still call it point and click but whatever.
It'll be interesting to see what Life is Strange 2 does, because I'm hoping that it does stray away from like the edgy teenagers that we had in the first game.
I see that's also what killed it for me is just the dialogue.
Teenagers written by like people in their like 30s.
Yeah, these like white men. It was just like, okay.
Never forget.
They're just like the most awkward dudes too. Like whenever I see some of their interviews, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? But yeah, just the dialogue and the amount of times hella is used is just Oof.
There's so many lines in that game that are just cringeworthy. It's impressive.
And yes, I do get the argument that like, no, it's supposed to be cringe because that's what teenagers are. But it's like, yeah, but it's still cringe, all right? That's not an excuse.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I'm I'm interested to see what the sequel will do, and hopefully we will have better characters and better dialogue. Um, but yeah, like deep down, I want every game to be good, but you know, things might happen. Also, I forgot to put this on the list, but I just remembered that Telltale announced that we're getting a Wolf Among Us season 2.
Oh yeah, they did. I need to finish the first game.
Wait,
Still.
you did it? I could have sworn you
Mm-mm.
did.
No, I got to the end of I got to the start of the last chapter and then I stopped playing. I need to go finish it.
It's personally it's one of my favorite Telltale games. But I haven't played a lot of them. I still haven't played the Borderlands one, which everyone says is actually really good. I haven't played season 2 of Batman, um, and I think there's like 2 others that I haven't played,
Uh
one of them is the Minecraft one because I have no interest in that.
it was shaping up to be like one of my favorite games of the year, even though it wasn't something that I played the year it came out, but like it was good. So I'm gonna go finish it and be really hyped up for season 2.
Yeah, I, I just personally, it's just, it pushed all the right buttons for me personally. So yeah, there we go. And then now, before we move to our big topic, we're going to talk about our Sonic stuff for the day. I deliberately didn't mention this when I did the E3 one because I'm like, I'll just save it for this. But the crazy wild world of the Sonic movie that may or may not actually be coming out, like it's really weird what's been going on with that. So last year, yes, like last year, we got some announcement. I'm pretty sure it was Paramount themselves saying that they picked up the rights for a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It was going to be animated ish. And that's all we knew. This is around the same time that we got that trailer for the Sly Cooper movie. So it was just kind of seeing that, oh, we're going to get a wave of video game movies. This was also the time when the Ratchet and Clank movie was about to be released. So then comes this year, and Sly Cooper movie. We have no idea what's happening with that. There's some talk about it being a TV show now. I don't know, but the Sonic movie has been going really interesting with the casting. Originally, we were going to have Paul Rudd was going to be like a cop buddy sidekick for Sonic.
I forgot about that.
And then apparently, nope, that's not happening. That was just a rumor. And now the newest bit of information, we have Jim Carrey might be Eggman.
Yeah, I'm actually
Oh.
I don't know, like there's a chance this could be a really good role for him, but at the same time there's a really good chance it'll be a really bad role for him. Because Eggman's a pretty eccentric
I just
character.
hope that once this podcast gets released, it finds out that no, Jim Carrey won't, and I'll be like, oh well, that's what happens. But
No. We find out that Jim Carrey is actually playing Sonic.
You know what? That could actually work.
Yeah, I guess.
It'd be very weird, but it'd be like, eh. Hey, listen, as I know that it will never be as bad as that Sonic fan movie that came out that has Doug Walker in it.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yep, it is. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But yeah, from what we have seen, I'm actually for this because I think Jim Carrey could probably do a good Eggman.
We know this movie's going to be a train wreck, though.
Yes, of course, it is going to be a train wreck. Now, we'll have literal trains. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
We might get a We might get a semi truck in there, maybe.
Well, yeah, we gotta have some product placement, so of course. uh,
It's crazy to think that some of the craziest news to come out of the Sonic franchise is the fact that Jim Carrey might be playing the villain in a live action Sonic movie. Like, do you think Sega ever thought when they were developing Sonic 1 that they'd ever have a movie where Jim Carrey was playing Robotnik Eggman?
well, of
No.
course not. I don't even know if they knew about Jim Carrey. So
I think Jim Carrey was like at the peak of his career
Oh,
when Sonic was coming out.
okay,
It's
well,
just-
yeah.
It's just funny to think, like, if you went back in time and talked to a Sonic fan from like when the games were fresh, and you told them about this live action movie thing that's happening, they would probably not believe you one bit.
Well. Wait a minute. Remember, we did have the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, but that's a train wreck of a movie.
No, at the time, people liked it more. I mean, it wasn't. Whatever. Anyway, yeah. And by the way, that Mario animated movie by Illumination apparently is still happening. So
That'll probably be good, actually.
but it's Illumination, so it's probably going to be good, but the animation might look very, very cheap.
Yeah, but
that's their staple. Is like
I've
real.
always thought their animation was actually kind of impressive. Like, it was cheap, but it was like smooth cheap.
The backgrounds annoy me a lot. There's a lot of just.
I guess I've never paid attention to that.
That and oh man, and in Sing where they just reuse the same model like that like thousands of times and don't even change it up. I don't know. It's little things like that. That's what I mean by say cheap, is where it just looks like they just came with whatever we have the character going on. That's what matters. And that compared to something like Incredibles 2, where every background is like full of details and little things. So yeah, I don't know, just whatever. Listen, you can like the Minions all you want. I'm not saying that if you like them, you're a terrible person, but just saying, Illumination's kind of cheap. A little bit.
A little bit, tiny bit.
Just a little bit. All right. Anyway, now from that lightheartedness, let's talk about something that may or may not be lighthearted, depending on the game. So last month, it was Pride Month, and originally I wanted to release this on that month, but stuff happens, and now this is kind of funny because we technically talked a little bit about this in the February episode where I bought on Dodge, and we touched a little bit about LGBTQ relationships because it was all about relationships in that one. But now we're going to focus on the actual characters and how LGBTQ plus relationships are not even just relationships, but just how it's shown within games and highlight some ones that should be highlighted, I guess. Of course, we're not going to cover like
bad.
of course, this is not going to be a list of every single one and then ranking them all, because that would take forever, and honestly, I don't want to do that.
That's the time.
So, I think just to keep this simple, I'm gonna have it for two categories. The first one is just games that have these characters there. They're just the bi character, because why not? We need one. This person's the gay character. This person is trans for just whatever reason. It's just fine. And then we get those games that are all about or more directly involve LGBTQ. I do when I was writing the script, I put it LGBTQ plus romance games because they tend to be romance games, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's one out there that's not romance games. Maybe, I don't know. Most popular ones are, so there's that. So let's start this off by talking about Life is Strange, because we mentioned that before, and now it's a proper segue, kind of. All right. So Life is Strange is an interesting game, as we have kind of discussed a little bit. But if you watch the or listened rather to the February podcast, we also talked about Life is Strange, and in there we ranted about just some of the uh, some of the relationship that Max and Chloe has, which honestly I think is kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, the relationship is it's wonky at best in that game. Um, you have a list of games, and like these are all interesting topics, but I think Life is Strange is one of the more uh, it's very dual sided, I guess you could say, because there's a bit where I don't know if it's spoiler territory. The game's been out for like what, 4 years?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Like it's been, yeah. I'll probably say that every game that we talk about, there might be some
Yeah.
spoilers. That's just what's gonna happen. We
Um.
we can't really talk about these games without bringing some type of spoiler in them.
hmm But there's the relationship between Max and Chloe, where it can become romantic. I think at one point.
Yes, so
And
you get the option if you want it to be romantic or not. It's the same thing with the prequel Before the Storm, where kind of, I don't know. It's but Before the Storm is like very much leaning toward the relationship, and it's
yeah,
like
because
I feel like you have to actively try not to, which is
that whole game is about the relationship between Chloe and Rachel.
yes.
But in the original game, I don't like how they did it. Did the relationship with Max and Chloe? I felt like they should have kept it as a friend, like a friendly thing, because I don't think they work well in a relationship status. Like they work pretty well as friends, despite like some obvious issues they have together, but putting in a optional relationship type thing was a bit iffy. I don't think they did it well from what I
Yeah,
saw.
because honestly, when I was playing it, that's kind of what I go. It's like, oh man, they are just like really good friends. Like I'd buy that. And I think what solidified that to me is the chapter where Max changes everything, and then you see the alternative future
Yeah,
of what happens
but
to her, and I'm like, no, see like. I know what you're trying. What this game is trying to do is say like this is a case for them to be more romantically involved, but like no, I actually see this more as this is a friendship thing.
like
Uh,
this is as close as a friendship can possibly get. Like
yeah,
they're like till death friends type thing, like a type. But from what I heard about Before the Storm, they do a much better job making Rachel and Chloe's relationship a little more realistic and enjoyable.
I mean, as realistic as Rachel having a fit and basically making a forest fire happen.
Yeah, but that's
Whoops. Kind of didn't
I
want to do
don't.
that, but oh no, like from what I've seen of Before the Storm, because I wasn't gonna play it, but thankfully Dodge Dream did, so that was enjoyable. Is that it? I kind of felt like there wasn't a lot of choice. It like
I mean,
very much was you kind of only have this one option. Uh, like
which
compared to the first Life is Strange, I kind of feel like there was just it was leading you towards one ending, one like really true ending, and that was about it.
I mean, it is a prequel, and if you did play the original game, it would be weird to have a game where you could alter that whole situation.
Yeah, I just think that like
It would be
this.
interesting to see them have take. It would have been interesting to see them be like, yeah, you can actually like just totally ruin this whole relationship and ruin the whole first game. But it makes sense to keep it
Yeah,
like
just have like a
um
time, just have a time paradox. I'm pretty sure if Metal Gear Solid 3 had it, you can have it too. Jeez.
yeah, but keeping it straightforward was kind of what they were aiming for. They just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what happened before all of the first game happened.
Yeah, though I do remember one interview that was throwing around with one of the guys was just like, yeah, but you can make a co-relationship with whoever you want. It's like she might not even be a friend. And I'm like, no, listen, it's purely obvious what you're trying to do. All right. Don't say that like, oh no, you could totally change the relationship that they have when really it's like, come on. Don't. This is not failed promises again. Just don't do that. Listen, it didn't work for No Man's Sky. Just sometimes less is more. Just don't give a lot of information out about a game and then release it. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next one, which I'm just going to sum up with just BioWare games.
Oh,
Which,
they're very hit and miss.
yes,
They're very hit and miss.
On one hand, you have the Dragon Age and Mass Effect series, and I almost forgot, but there is actually a lesbian character in the Knights of the Old Republic games that's an optional character in the first game. The cat lady is technically a lesbian. I say technically because there really is no romance thing. It's just kind of like hinted at. And you can also kill her off. So, yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and you're down one party member. That party slot won't fill up if you decide to do a dark side. So you're just down one.
But if we're gonna talk about BioWare games, we can't not talk about Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh yeah, Mass Effect. Yeah, there we go.
How poorly they did everything involving their LGBT situations.
Ooh, yeah.
They had a I don't know if they ever fixed it, but there's a trans character in that game. It's just a random NPC.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's actually really funny because right now, my dad is finally going through the game because yes, I do actually have a father that plays video games. And he accidentally found that character. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on? I don't understand what is this? It just suddenly happened. And
Wait, so that means they didn't fix it? Oh no.
Nope, they did not fix it. And I just thought that was like, oh.
But the character is trans. And so what they do is the character just like outright says, "Oh yeah, I'm trans." And no trans person would do that. It was it was inclusion for the sake of inclusion. Like having gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, queer characters is a good thing, but you can't just be like, "Hello, I am trans.
This is my one character. Now, let's do it."
Your sexuality, your gender is not a character. It's not a character trait. It's something about you, and so using that as a way to like build this character's like identity is so bad. Which is funny because the Mass Effect games, they do a really good job with romances and relationships, especially like
Lara is like probably one of the best ones, and that's a pretty interesting character. The whole Asari race, I think, is actually done pretty well considering what it's supposed to be.
People do have issues with them, but like they are a good starting point, I guess.
Yes,
but it was so shocking because BioWare has had a really good history with like LGBTQ plus characters, and so when Andromeda has this really poorly constructed trans character, it comes off as just lazy.
Yeah, the whole Mass Effect and it's just a little tangent here, but Mass Effect and Andromeda is, I think, is what happens when a company says, "Well, we can beat the game, so just ship it out. It's done." And it really needed like 1 more year of development.
It did. It really did need a year. Like there's a base. There's like a base for that game to be really good, but it needed polish, and EA kind of just was like, "Throw it out. We're done. GG, guys.
Yeah, we're
Make
just
us
gonna
a
move on
million-
to our. We're just gonna move on to Battlefront.
Make Anthem now."
Mm. With no loot boxes, everyone clap. Yeah, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
But now I have a little. I'm starting to actually play more of the Dragon Age series. I just finally got through. I'm making my way through Origins, but I wanted to point out that in Dragon Age they also do have some interesting relationships there, and that's one that I actually think does handle it pretty well. But it's also kind of just, oh yeah, by the way, I'm just I am the trans character for this, and it's just, oh, okay, well, now what? Is
Yeah.
that it? Is that all? It's just, is that your only character trait? But the main reason why I wanted to bring up Mass Effect, especially Mass Effect and Andromeda, is that there's a good. Is that just what exactly you were saying? Is that if we're gonna have more representation, we got to do it right. And what Mass Effect Andromeda did with its NPC wasn't really the right way to go about it.
I have a. You don't have it on this list, but I'll bring it up like at the very end of this whole topic. But there is a game that most people probably know about that they don't realize is actually really good about its representation of the LGBT plus community. I'll bring it up later, though. We'll get through
Okay.
these.
So the next one I wanted to talk about is Dream Daddy, because that might be one of the best visual novels ever made. Maybe. I don't know.
No,
That
it's
is
not the
that was a joke, by the way.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
It's not, but
it's-
what it is.
It's a fun time.
Yes, it's a fun time where you date daddies, and this goes into more of the directly where romance games, and I'm sort of out of my element with talking about Dream Daddy, as I'm one of those that has never played it, but I've seen a lot of it. I might as well have played it, and honestly, I do just kind of want to say that's like how it's okay. Let's just say this. Do you think it is a good LGBT? Do you think like it represents the LGBTQ crowd well?
Yes and no, and I'll explain why.
Okay, well, why?
Well, okay, so it starts off as a very, like, how do I explain this? It's kind of tough. Basically, Dream Daddy does like it has a bunch of characters. Like they're all like single dads. Well, most of them are, and a lot of them come off as very, like, they do a good job with some of the characters being openly gay, bisexual, but there are a few characters where the romancing just doesn't feel natural. Like for me, there's a character, Brian. He's the
is he the mini golf?
yeah, he's the mini golf. He's the bear.
Yeah.
He's the bear of the game, and his storyline it goes from like this adorable little like competitive dad, like dads being competitive dads story, to them suddenly kissing under fireworks. And
yeah, that was really weird. Yeah, that was like,
it didn't feel natural. Like it was nice and all, but it didn't feel natural.
yeah. This is another example of just kind of what of Life is Strange, where it more felt like it was a friendship, and it probably should just stayed at that, and it would have been more. The progression just kind of went from like 0 to 80, 100
But overall, Dream Daddy is more hits than misses when it comes to its inclusion. Um, if you look into that game, you'll find a few characters that are a little surprising when it comes to like who they
I don't
are.
know if I would call it a hidden gem because it's not really hidden. But
For a first game from the Game Grumps development team, it's really a quality game.
yeah, I am excited to see what else they will do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that they'll take the criticisms that have come with it to heart. At least I hope so. Anyway, let's move out from one dating sim visual novel to another one that recently just came out and also got an update, Monster Prom. Now, now I'm only going to really just touch on this one very briefly, but the reason why I wanted to say this is because it's another one of those that's just the LGBT side of it is more just that, yeah, you can make your characters whatever. Like, that's it. It doesn't really matter, like, okay, like your player character is literally, you could be whatever sexuality, whatever gender you want.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And I actually think that that approach is worth noting. It just kind of just like, yeah, we're just
Do whatever you want to be.
yeah, and just make it more casual, and as such I feel like we get it to be more accepted. So
It comes off more natural.
yes, and I want to give props to the dev team for that, because that's actually really good. So big round of applause for them. But don't actually do it because I don't want like a loud noise to suddenly be in this podcast. But yeah, do you have anything to say about Monster Prom before we move on to the next one?
I haven't played it, and I haven't even watched anyone play it, so I have no opinion.
You should probably give it a try.
I should probably play
pretty
it.
sure there's a lot of people that are. It actually just came out with a new update. I have yet to play the update, but I may or may not decide to stream the game at some point. Anyway, next
for the future.
Oh yeah, of course. The next one that we're going to talk about is Overwatch, which
They have one confirmed
yeah,
gay character.
and that
Supposedly,
like really the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because of Tracer has now kind of become like the poster child for lesbian relationships now.
She's gay, or supposedly she might be bisexual. We don't actually know, but she has a partner, and that's what they said. That's it.
And that's it. That's all you know. And yet everyone went nuts.
And it's totally fine. Like, they didn't have to make it like they didn't make it a big deal. They announced it in a comic, and that was it. And that's totally fine. That works.
Yeah. And it kind of makes sense for what Overwatch is going for. I mean, now we have like a literal hamster.
Overwatch.
So anything is possible. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to bring up Overwatch, more specifically Tracer, because again, it's just another example of them just introducing it really casually and not making
Big
like
deal.
a super big deal about this, and it's just a normal thing, and yeah, I just really appreciate that. So good on you. Kind of, where I would like to have more of a concrete backstory, but with the nature of Overwatch, nothing is concrete. It's just whatever. All right, we're gonna move on to the Last of Us now, because that's relevant.
Yep. Have you played the DLC?
So, I currently do not have a PS4, so I have not played either the first one or the second one.
Okay.
Or the DLC. The second one hasn't come out yet. Whatever. But I have seen a complete walkthrough of both, and the DLC, of course. And I don't know. I think, well, honestly, Okurii, how about do you want to open this?
Well, I haven't played the DLC myself. I'm actually replaying Last of Us casually right now, but I did have like everything spoiled for me. Um, I don't know how. From what I can tell, they did a pretty good job with the whole Ellie being. Well, we don't. You can't really label it because there's no confirmation as to like what these characters are, and that's always a thing. But from what I recall, they did a pretty good job with her coming out story. And The Last of Us 2 is definitely going to pick up on that a little more. And
As the E3 trailer showed,
yeah,
of course.
So that'll be interesting. I think Naughty Dog can probably nail a good LGBT character. So if anyone's gonna do it well, it'll probably be them.
Most likely, yeah, because Naughty Dog gets a good reputation um for their stories nowadays. So I think you're right. If anyone, they're probably gonna handle that really well, unless they happen to have a bad publisher and they have to release a game super early and they can't flush it out.
It'll be we'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah.
The game comes out.
So there's that. Now let's talk about Persona, more so 4, but I guess we could talk about a little bit about 5 if you want. I don't know. So luckily we have you here because you're like the Persona expert.
Well, not really,
Okay,
but I know enough about the series to talk about it.
Okay.
So when you talk about Persona 4, and you talk about LGBT characters, you're gonna most likely be talking about Kanji, and he's confirmed gay. But they didn't necessarily handle his story well. I think they more or less said, "Oh, he's still not sure about his sexuality," but
which makes him, when he fights his shadow, very like, what were you talking about? What? Like,
the thing with Japan, it's an issue. It's more or less an issue with Japan.
Yes.
Because
honestly, this entire podcast could just be about how Japan handles this, and Japan in general is very hit or miss with its representations.
yeah, it's probably more or less just coming down to they don't want to get backlash or have built a controversy around a character for their sexuality.
Yeah, because there is I think it was a trans person in Catherine. That it was can't believe I forgot her name, but she looked like Wendy, or not Wendy, Ronald McDonald. And that's what I always just called her, was female Ronald McDonald. I forget her name, but she's just a side character. And the thing is that there's a new guy within their group who has a crush on her, but everyone else knows that she's trans, but he doesn't. And that's the joke. See, it's funny, right?
Okay, so I had to look it up. But the issue people had with Kanji was his confusion over his manhood and sexuality. It's more or less like he's clearly coming off as gay, but they act as if it's like he doesn't understand how to be a man. Like, being gay is weird, so it means his manlyhood is like flawed or whatever, and so people didn't like that. It's a weird situation. Like I said, Japan has this whole issue where you'll get some good representation and you'll get like these very positive LGBT characters, But
Doesn't the Yakuza series have
yeah,
like
Yakuza's very progressive when it comes to their representation. But from what I
yeah,
know,
yeah, because doesn't I don't remember which one it was. I'm pretty sure it was Kiwami, maybe I'm not sure. But wasn't there one like it's so progressive that you have a side mission about a dominatrix needing to learn how to be a better dominatrix.
yeah,
Uh,
and they didn't make it come off as weird or anything. It was just like this is part of their life. Like Kiryu's gonna help them out, and that's one of those games that has a very positive representation. But Japan is actually weirdly, from what I remember, mixed on its
it is.
uh,
It's
whole,
pretty mixed.
because for a lot of them it comes off as more of a phase than anything else. Like that's what they call it. It's like it's a phase. Like they'll grow out of it. They'll stop because I don't know. It's a whole thing. I don't want to get into it because it's a whole controversial topic. You can look into this yourself if you want to, but long story short, Kanji's not a very good gay character.
Yeah.
No.
I'd probably say from what I've seen, it just and it kind of sucks because there was opportunity for him to be really unique and interesting, and not in the unique that he's gay, but actually like give him a much better premise and struggle, I guess. I don't know.
But if you do want to look for a very good representation of Japan doing LGBT characters, look no further than the Nier franchise. And I'm being serious.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So the Nier has a few LGBT characters. I'm not going to spoil one of them because it's not really talked about, and it's more or less something you can figure out for yourself while playing. But there's a character named Emil. He's probably like the staple character you've seen, the weird mask-looking character.
Yes.
He is very
and not
much,
the creator. They like the actual.
yeah, the character in the games. He's very much gay. And Yoko Taro, the creator, was like, he had to come out and just be like, no, he's gay. Because people were like saying like, it's his affection and passion towards Nier, like a mentor type thing. And Yoko Taro's like, no, he's gay. And the reason they do these characters work well is because instead of making their sexuality part of like their main thing, these characters have their own like personalities, and their sexuality doesn't necessarily have anything to do with who they are as a person, other than who they would prefer be with. And it works well because you don't want. I said this. It's the same thing with It's like the opposite of BioWare, making the characters more or less good without using their sexualities as a main focus.
So basically, the common theming here is that instead of trying to make it something that's super pronounced, that just like a character tells something else, say, hey, by the way, I'm the gay character, make it more subtle, make it that that's not their only character trait. They just happen to be. I guess that's one way.
Their sexuality doesn't have to be a big deal. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, like it's like I know that it might be for people that only see the headlines for all these game journal articles out there. Like, oh, by the way, this is a good representation, but that's for them. In the game, it can just be super subtle, and that's really all we need.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I totally forgot about Nier.
Because most people would, because it was never made like to be a big deal.
See, so then I guess it can also have the opposite effect. But nowadays, I'm pretty sure with everything that with the internet, and now I'm pretty sure that even just the subtlety can go a long way. And with that said, folks, I think that is going to be it for this podcast.
Yeah,
So again, so yeah,
that was a dangerous topic to end it off on.
it's like and now this yeah, whoops. So again, I just want to thank everyone for coming on, for like listening to us talk and ramble about stuff, and also a lovely thank you to my patrons who helped support me get and get like better equipment, because I like that, and now I should sound like 1,000 times better. So thanks for that.
Thanks, patrons.
Woo! And of course, I know that this topic that we talked about might not be everyone's cup of tea, or in my case, cup of coffee, but I hope you at least learned something here, and that's kind of
obviously if I said something really stupid, I apologize. It's a very touchy subject, so sorry about that.
Yeah, this is a pretty touchy subject, so I know it might, but hey, I also had one where we went into the logistics of violence in games, and
that's almost as bad.
So yeah, whew. Anyway, our guest Okurii, where can they find you?
You can find me on the YouTube and the Twitter, and I also have a Patreon that you can support me through. I don't know if you're cool with me shouting that out.
Well,
but that's the thing.
you like decided to come on here and like waste time talking to me, so like listen.
Yeah, but you can find those all on my channel.
I'll put if you're watching this on YouTube or on my website, you'll see a link to all his stuff in the description below. If you're not, and you're on Apple Podcasts or any other podcast app, because I can't put links there for some strange reason, then yeah, there you go.
Just do a quick search, you'll find me. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And with that all said, just want to give everyone a big thank you, and we'll see you next month.